Our next guest tonight's a winner, and it doesn't matter if he's competing or coaching. He just wins. As a player, he helped BYU to a pair of national volleyball championships in 2001 and 2004. As a coach of the women's program, he took the Cougars to their first national championship match in 2014. As the men's coach, he's taken BYU into the national championship match in 2016, 2017, 2018, and is a four-time Coach of the Year in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. A pleasure to welcome BYU men's volleyball head coach Shawn Olmstead to the Wise Guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys for having me. It's awesome.
You might be the coolest guest we've ever had.
No, come on. He was just telling me he had Marie Osmond on here.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But she wasn't a volleyball player. You know, there's something about, what is it about volleyball and the beach, even though there isn't a beach here in Provo, but it just brings people to the sport.
The lifestyle. You know, the sun, the sand, the surf, just hanging out, California, Southern California, wherever you can find a beach, and there's a lot of enticing things. So
volleyballers they're like the coolest of athletes, it seems like, because they know how to cross the line and get out there and bring it and be competitive. But it seems like they also know how, when they get outside the line, to chill and relax like no other athlete. Is that the wrong vibe I'm getting from volleyball players, or is that accurate, Shawn?
I think that's really accurate, actually. And I appreciate you sharing that with me. I'm gonna use that again because it's true. We've got, hands down, we've got some of the best athletes on campus that maybe don't get the recognition that they're gonna get in all the other sports. Yeah. And these guys can definitely tone it down, and they were just hanging out in the team room right now when I left, and said, guys, I got to run. We were having team dinner after practice tonight. So I like that. I like how you put that. I think that's spot on.
There is Stone Cold killers on the court, and chill, great guys you want to hang with off the court is what they're all about, and I love that. Sure. Hey, and by the way, I wanted to be there with you tonight, but we know that your season opener's coming Friday night against McKendree from Illinois, and I've got a terrible cough, and we just felt it was really a bad idea for me to come in and cough all over you before the game. So this is like, if it was just me and Dave, I would come cough all over Dave, no problem whatsoever.
Think twice about it.
But no way was I going to come cough on Shawn. That was for sure.
I appreciate that, and I love the beautiful pictures behind. I mean, you're all set up. It's just
see, and I don't know if that's backwards when you see it, but it says all you need is love, right?
That's right. Yeah,
that's good.
And that's the theme for my family. And these are all my little cherub grandchildren in behind me is what they are.
Wow. So and here I am surrounded by all the Big 12 stuff. And I was talking, we're going to bring in some we're going to bring in some gear and get some other things on the wall. But here I am surrounded. And then I look at you and the beautiful family.
It's
and
balanced.
All you need is love right there. You know, we're going into a Beatles jam now.
That's the theme. You know what, though? Hey, anything you want to add to the set for us, though, Shawn, that we can have from the volleyball team? We will put it on the set. That would be awesome.
Hold me that, I promise. Within a week, let us compete a little bit.
Something cool.
I'll bring a bunch of hats and some things that you guys do with it what you'd like. Maybe you're gonna wear them, or maybe you're gonna decorate in here, because this is awesome. This is cool.
This is really our lair, and as you can see, the Big 12 teams are up there except for Texas and Oklahoma. We've already moved them on to the SEC.
I didn't even put that
they're
one together.
short timers, so they're not up there on the wall. But do you feel left out? The men's volleyball team's the only sport not going to the Big 12.
Sure. And we were chatting before, and I was telling him a little of the backstory. You know, I remember when Tom came to practice, and I was with the women's team and finishing up our practice, and he pulled me aside and said, hey, we're going to the WCC.
Right.
And I have another story, but I don't think we have the time on when I was there, and I'm certain, and I joke with Tom nonstop, I was the first to be involved in the football scheduling as it relates to, can we pull this off? Can we go independent? Tom was there writing notes, and he shredded up this, and he was on the phone.
And were you saying yes?
No, I was just like, what's going on? He's on the phone with president. He's on the phone with some heavy hitters. And you just, okay, can we do this? Can we do this? And he was writing down on this one piece of paper nonstop for like a day straight. And that's not normally Tom. Tom's in with our team. He's chatting with the girls, because I was coaching the girls at the time. And finally, whatever it was, the final phone call that he needed, I don't know, and He just gets this piece of paper. And I have never in my life seen a human being shred a piece of paper as many times as Tom Holmoe did. And it was just he and I in the locker room at the time.
Really?
Because I'm like, I'm going to grab that paper. Like, there's something on that. And he just shred that thing into a million pieces. And I had no shot. But then this go around, there wasn't, you guys could probably, talk about it, but there wasn't like the publicity, the excitement that we've seen in the past as it relates to conference affiliation. And so I don't feel like any of the coaches really had any sort of like strong, okay, we're going. And Tom sends out a text to the head coaches only, on a Thursday night, because it was announced on Friday.
Yeah.
And it was about 8 or 9 o'clock. It was late. It might have been almost approaching 10 o'clock at night that, hey, you have to be at this meeting. Like, head coaches, you are here, mandatory.
Yeah.
And so we're all in there, and it was awesome. It was awesome to be a part of it. And Tom, got real emotional and excited for everybody. And we're going to the Big 12, except you, Shawn. But we love you. No, that wasn't. But I don't feel left out.
And there's a reason for that, because there isn't men's volleyball in the Big 12.
Not one of those schools that we're looking at right here. None of those schools support or have men's volleyball, and so we're very comfortable with where we're at. And it's been great for all of us, every one of us, all the athletes, the facility, everything. It's been a wonderful opportunity for all of us. And so Tom and Brian and the administration, Liz and the president, everyone's kept my guys included. We're not excluded. It's not,
good.
Hey, you're over there and we're here, and we're all a part of this thing. But it is funny because I go to church that next Sunday, or anybody I run into still right now. Oh man, we're going to the Big 12. We're finally like, that's it. Here we go. No
Can't
more.
wait till you play.
Yeah. Oh, are you excited to play Texas Tech? No, I'm the only one. What do you mean? I'm the only coach that's not going to the Big 12. We're the only team. So,
but Shawn, won't the dollars from the Big 12 make a huge difference, and those will flow over to you guys as well. And you're already, so maybe some upgrades in facilities, dollars coming your way. But you're really in the best league in college volleyball. When people think of football, they think of the SEC.
Oh yeah.
When they think of volleyball, you're in the best league in America, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's, as I stated just a minute ago, as it relates to that, facilities, the upgrades, all of those things, every little movement that, the casual fan, the outsiders have no idea of what's going into all this. And we're seeing it we are literally seeing it day to day. And that's been our approach to the Big 12. I think BYU's done a phenomenal job in correlation with the church, with the president, vice president, moving this thing forward. So we're all on board, and nobody's left out in any way, shape, or form, other than, hey, yeah, the Big 12. And I'm going to be honest, I'll keep my trips to Malibu, California, and Los Angeles, and UCLA,
Don't
and
rub
USC,
it in. Yeah.
And over some of those locations.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So we're very happy, and it's great because of the approach BYU's taken as it relates to this.
Season openers Friday night on BYU TV against McKendree out of Illinois. How eager are you to see the boys in competition?
Very, very. They've been beating each other up all last semester, and then we came back 2 days after Christmas. We had our first practice after Christmas on the 27th at 5 p.m. The guys were back in town, ready to go at 5 o'clock. We had an evening practice. Then we've gone almost every day since then with 2 practices a day. A couple days we gave them off, but today we finished that session of those quote-unquote double days.
Yeah.
We'll kind of tone it down a little, where we're now going into the afternoon, evening practices leading up to this Wednesday, Thursday. And so there's always an excitement to just new opportunities, new faces, familiar faces with some respects. And so it's really excited.
Shawn, you set a really high bar early in your career, and then you've just maintained it. So every year expectations are high, and that's a great thing, right? Uh-huh. How has the success you've had fed your recruiting efforts? Yeah, no,
it's always BYU. It's always been fun and exciting to go out, and you go into Southern California, you go into the hotbed of volleyball, where now you've got the Irvines, the Long Beach States, the Santa Barbaras, and then the UCLAs, the USCs, And you go in there and here's BYU showing up, and we have an opportunity to be in the mix with every one of those kids because of what was built here, starting with Carl McGowan.
Yep.
The ability that Carl, getting the community, like from the start, volleyball was this kind of it was the hot ticket. It always has been.
It still is.
It still is. And so, Carl did such a great job, and then everyone's kind of followed suit. And, so it's always exciting when you go into those homes and you're able to be there with those teams. And here's a kid in Southern California, and we're in the mix. And those are the areas we have to go and recruit. And so you look at the support, like you guys. I mean, look at this. And then you go to the BYU TV.
Sure.
And then you go to just the gates, the people coming into the matches, the live events. And every single year since I've been the head coach, you'll run into a guy that you recruited, and he'll go play at UCLA or USC. He comes here and he goes, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I told you. I've had a handful of them, a couple All-Americans. Man, I wish I would have known. It's their senior year, and because man, this would have been amazing to play here for every home game. So we can't thank the community and all the people that do so much for us and our team."
Dave and I come, and I tried to just kind of blend in and sit in the crowd, and I can't imagine, Shawn, that there's a better home court environment for fans than what you guys have developed there. I mean, the whole thing. The music, the competition, the fan involvement. You've been all over the country and played against top 10 teams week after week. Is there any place better for a home court environment than what you guys have? No,
it's not even close. You're right there. You're on the floor. The fans are on the floor. And it's just the way that the field house is. I won't say it's just us. Hawaii is a great environment, the island, and they do a nice job. But year after year after year, it's BYU. It's coming there to play at BYU, come to play in the Smith Fieldhouse, to be a part of that crowd and that environment. And so we've kept that consistency. And you've got a 20,000 seat arena just up the street. You have no interest in going. That's where
there.
I was going to go. Yeah. Listen to this. Carl's first national championship was in '99. The team, I could be a little off, but their record was 30-1. Okay?
All right.
The one loss was to Long Beach State when they broke the NCAA attendance record with it was 10 or 11,000 people at an NCAA men's volleyball game. And the one loss that Carl McGowan had was in the Marriott Center.
So that was it.
But then I come in, and then I start playing. So that was the season of 99. I come in the fall of 99. We are now in my junior year, 03. We have a good team.
Yeah.
We end up losing in the finals that year. So we had a really, really good team. We beat Hawaii on Friday night in the Smith Fieldhouse, and they had made this big push. So it had been planned way in advance. We're going to break the NCAA attendance record in the Marriott Center on Saturday night against Hawaii. We break the record, and we lose. No, yeah. So they asked me. They've inquired years ago. They have. I'll tell you what. I don't know the last time they have, because it's just we're going to stay in the Smith Fieldhouse. I understand the excitement and what we could do, but we love that.
I swear you could put 20,000 students in the Marriott Center.
And let's talk facilities. I hope I don't get myself in trouble. I don't think I will, because I'm not Look, there's been discussion. What are we going to do as facilities grow in the Big 12?
Right.
What are we going to do? Are we going to do a volleyball only venue? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? And I've struggled with that, because I love the Smith Fieldhouse. Everyone wants the new and nice, and I've seen some amazing arenas at Ohio State and some of these big time programs where they make it a women's and men's facility only.
Yeah.
And Heather and I just love the Smith Fieldhouse. I love it.
It's been great. It's been great for you.
If you're a fan and you have not been to men's volleyball or women's volleyball for that matter, but for especially for men's volleyball, if you haven't been in the Fieldhouse for a match, you need to go. It's off the charts. One of the best college sports environments out there. I love it every time we go.
Reach out to me if you're a fan. and you're watching this, or it gets tweeted out to you, reach out to me. We got to get you ticket. We're going to get you to a game, and you're going to bring your significant other or your son or daughter or anybody else, but you got to come down and experience it.
Sounds great. Sounds great. As the guys play this year and as we watch them live and on BYU TV, what are the 3 names we'll hear the most?
Okay. Oh, put me on the spot right now.
And then I have a follow-up.
Okay. No. That's great. So you're going to see we've had a steady libero the last few years, and I'd be
and the libero, which is what you played, does what?
Yeah. So this is a position that wears a different color jersey.
Okay.
So I'm doing my best to describe it to what would be casual fans, but BYU supporters. And we love that. And so you'll go to a game and you'll see one player wearing a different color jersey. They are allowed to enter in the match and exit the match without any sort of formal substitution. So the flow of the match goes. In our side, the men's side, they cannot serve. The women's side, you will see that they do serve.
Okay.
But you'll see the women's team has them. Every team you're going to see on TV or BYU TV, everyone has them.
And what's their job?
They're going to play. Great question. That jersey, only allows them to play in the back row. They cannot go attack. So they're going to be receiving and passing serves and digging a lot of volleyballs, ideally. So playing defense.
So that's who you're probably not going to be one of your 6'7" guys.
No, we're usually going to put him in for one of our 6'7" or 6'8" guys. And so that's been a position that has allowed the game to be a little more exciting because a little more of what we call ball control. They control those touches better than the big guys.
Okay.
And so we've had a libero that's played in the national championship, been a part of our team. He's now in, I joke with him that I've lost count. He might be in year 7 for all I know with the, but Mitch Worthington's a kid that came from Arizona.
Mitch Worthington.
Lived the dream of a walk-on. Came here, we gave him an opportunity. He took full advantage of it, and he's just grown tremendously over the course of even just this last year. And so he deserves the recognition because most years they don't get that recognition, that position. Everyone's looking at the big guys, like you mentioned, the 6'7", the 6'8" guys, the guys that fly.
Yeah.
And Mitch just does all the dirty work. And that's what a libero does.
And is he one of your favorites because you were a libero in the international championship run?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Because, hey, I joke. I tell guys, look, if it wasn't for the libero position, I openly tell my guys, I would not have played. I would have been on the roster because Carl brought me onto the roster. I would not have played. I didn't jump like those guys. I wasn't as big as those guys. But I was born and raised on the beach, touching a volleyball.
Yeah.
Every day, all day, with my sisters, with my dad. And so I could do that. And Carl came to me and just said, in Carl's way, like Olmstead, you're never going to play outside hitter for me. You're not. You don't jump. You don't, but you can do this better. You can pass better than anybody else. So we're going to make you a libero. And I never looked back. And, I'm glad I had a wonderful career because of that.
So Mitch is number 1. All right, 2 more.
I'm going to go with the guy that Tion Taylor. And so he's married to a women's player that came as a transfer from Wyoming. And he's another kid that has been a basketball guy most of his life down in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Played
volleyball, really newer to the sport, and but can get off the ground. Touch is really, he's the kind of guy that everyone's going to be excited to watch. Can get up and move the ball around offensively, does a really, really good job blocking, and just does a lot of things. And he's another one of those kids that just is kind of one of the anchors for our team. So you're going to see a lot from him. And then I'm going to go with our outside hitter last year that was alongside Davide, which is Mix Romanis. And he's a NorCal kid. He is Latvian. He speaks Latvian at home. All on the phone with mom and dad.
Does he ever yell at you in Latvian?
No, he not yet, not yet.
Good.
But it's all Latvian at home. He texts mom and dad in Latvian. He when he goes home, grandma and grandpa live with him. So he's got a passport, and he spent all summer. Interesting thing is he spent this entire summer in Latvia training with the Latvian national team.
Really?
Yeah. So,
wow.
So that was great experience for him, and he's able to have that, quote unquote, I guess it would be dual citizenship. And so that's another name you're going to hear a lot from. Physical guy.
What position does Tion play? Is Tion a middle blocker, outside hitter, opposite? What is he?
Yeah, Tion's a middle. He's a
middle?
My bad.
How tall is Tion?
Tion's relatively, as it relates to the position, fairly undersized. He's about 6. I bet Tion would say he's 6'6". I would say he's 6'5", if I had to just be honest.
Yeah.
And he's got to be able to jump out of the gym at 6'5" to play that position.
He touches. Oh, I don't want to. I'm positive it's at least 11 foot 9 inches, if not higher. So I don't want to short side him, but he's up there. And I say his height because he's going to say he's taller. I don't think he is. And so for that, that shows his physicality. And that's why I believe a lot of people are going to really enjoy watching him play and do things above the net.
Well, when I fell in love with BYU men's volleyball is when an undersized, I believe is outside, Ozzie Antonetti, who was flying through the air like Superman.
Yep.
And I'm like, there's no way that dude can play that position, but he could just literally fly like Michael Jordan. That's when I fell in love with volleyball.
Yep. Ozzie Antonetti, very, very close friend of mine, and what a wonderful human being. And I have his jersey in my office, signed, plaqued, and Ozzie's just an outstanding human being and an unbelievable volleyball player. And he was, I would say this too, in front of Ozzie, I would be willing to bet you're not even 6 feet tall, and he's going to say, you're wrong. I'm 6 this or 6 that. It's a credit to him because of what he did. And he played a position in volleyball that is even more, you really need to be even more physical. It's called the opposite hitter. You're going to get a lot of the junk to bail us out of bad opportunities. That is your role. The opposite hitters internationally are making all the money, they're making, I don't know what you would correlate it to in football, maybe almost not the quarterback because we look at our setter like that, but they're the guys that you got to be a tough dude. And here's Ozzie. He was a lefty, and just his personality, pizzazz, the hair, the excitement, and just to watch him fly, people loved it.
BYU volleyball.
Am I wrong in saying he was way undersized for playing opposite? But I literally felt like he could fly and hang in the air, and he would jump with a lean like Michael Jordan when he's dunking.
Yep.
And I just thought it was a thing of beauty. So
no, you're not.
I don't know.
You are
when you tell me that Tion's only 6'5", I'm like, okay, I got to watch this guy because he's going to be another guy that maybe is a little undersized for the position, but he must be a phenomenal athlete to watch. So I'm going to really watch him this year.
And Ozzie, you couldn't be more spot on. More spot on. That's a perfect assessment of Ozzie. And like I said, the Russians, the opposites, those guys they're 7 feet tall, international level. And here's Ozzie at that size, just unbelievable.
BYU head volleyball coach Shawn Olmstead is on the Wise Guys tonight ahead of Friday night's season opener. Now, I have a favorite player on your team.
Okay.
Jared Brady.
Okay.
Jared was on my Little League team.
No way.
In Las Vegas. I coached him and Ben, his older brother.
Okay.
And Laura, that was our team mom.
Yep.
And Travis was often our team sponsor for Brady Industries, and they're big sponsors of BYU TV Sports.
Yeah.
Jared was younger than the rest of our team, but he didn't want to play in the league of his age. He wanted to play up with his friends and his brother.
Yeah.
And so he was undersized.
Yep.
And there were times when I would have to talk him into going into the batter's box because we got some guy throwing some heat that I wouldn't even want to go in there. But he was a tenacious competitor and would never surrender I'm too young, I'm too small, I'm not as big and as fast as all these other guys. And he just blended into our team, and he was awesome. But that's where he had his development began, and then he took an interest in volleyball, and he got size.
Yep.
And anyway, he's one of the greatest kids ever born. And now from one former head coach to his current head coach.
There you go.
You got a good kid there.
Oh yeah, I could pull it up. We just actually looked at this. I don't know what our time is, and I won't take too much, but Jared, we marked him at it might be 45 inches vertical. I'm almost positive. And the reason I was looking through it is, we had this scrimmage out in Vegas.
Yeah, and you guys had dinner at the house, right?
And we were at his house. And then, he played great the next day, and he was just, getting up and getting, contacting the ball at a really, really high point. And so we got some film of it, and we were going over, okay, you touch here, and this is your standing reach, and you vertically touch this now. And so we put the numbers together, and Jared was, darn it, I'm not going to be able to find it, but Jared was at 45. I was going to show you a picture.
That is ridiculous. Yeah. That's such a good jump.
Yep.
And he's 6'4", so he's got to have those hops to be in there and compete, doesn't he?
Okay. But again, Jared is not 6'4". Nothing against Jared, because I love the kid.
What is he?
Jared's a solid 6'3".
6'3", okay.
I guess that's not fair to Jared, because I love the kid.
If his hair's spiked up, he's 6'4".
I do love the kid, so maybe I'd be shocked if he was 6'4". Realistically, shoes off. We're doing full NFL combine measurements. Let's go.
So let's say you're 6'3". You've got to have hops to get out there.
That's what I mean. And he does. And so it's all credit to him. I mean, this is nothing but complimentary. And, but I'd be shocked if he was 6'4". And again, it's just more of a compliment to him, his ability to elevate.
When he was coming in,
45 inches, Shawn, is the elite level vertical, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
When he was coming in,
we have a guy for you that we think you should take from the basketball team, Atiki Aliatiki. He's 6'10", and it comes from West Africa. And we're talking to the coaches, and they were doing the touch test like you guys do. And he touched 12.6, and I was like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. They go, well, we don't even know how ridiculous it is, because the thing only goes to 12.6. Yeah.
No, I mean, 12.6 is that's pretty darn ridiculous. We've got a 12.3 guy. But his wingspan, I've seen him. I've interacted with him. He's just a big physical kid, and 12.6 is pretty. That's essentially world class. Like, let's be honest. That's an elite level, and so. I'm just finding this, but
And what people need to recognize is when they go out to watch a men's volleyball game, the level of athleticism. That's the thing that always impresses me the most, is the vertical jump on a lot of these guys with the combined with their length. It's crazy. It's crazy athletic, and the game is so fast at that level. That really is fun to watch.
So there's Jared for you. I don't know if you can see it from there, Dave, or if I put it, I don't know where the best, but there you go. There's Jared Brady jumping 45 inches, so you can see it for yourself.
Just imagine how tall I am, and then he's jumped over my head.
And so you can see, there's a good shot for you to be able to see that.
This is cool. His parents are listening to the show tonight from Vegas.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And I know that we just love the Bradys. They've been friends forever, but they've been a big part of our development of BYU TV sports.
The Bradys have been so good to us and helping sponsor a lot of things that we do. We have a huge debt of gratitude to that family, and they're a great family.
I couldn't say, enough good things about Travis. Like, what a wonderful human being, and just the generosity towards everybody and towards BYU, yes, athletics, but also towards the campus community of what is BYU. And so I second that 100%, 100 times over.
We're glad volleyball is a big deal in Las Vegas. There's a lot of Las Vegans that have been on your roster over the years.
Price Jarman, we've got his little brother Cooper Jarman just off his mission. Price Jarman was playing in a national championship. Leo Durkin was the setter that year in a national championship. When I won, Joe Hillman was our opposite. When I was a senior, he was our starting opposite from Las Vegas. It's been a really, really great place for us. And right now we have 4 Vegas kids.
4 Vegas kids. That's awesome. I did sports down there for 2 decades.
No way. And, I didn't know that.
So Vegas is a big part of our life. And volleyball is different there than in Utah. I mean, it's the sport you want to play.
It's been
the girls come out and watch that sport.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. There's so many young men, young boys, high school kids participating. It's exciting, and so it's been a really, really cool place to recruit from.
Good.
So do you know Dick's Jarman then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So all those connections. I
Oh, yeah.
apologize. We
You
never
bet.
knew.
No.
And now we've got them.
We need to hang out more often.
Anytime.
It's a Vegas. Vegas is great. It's the combination, and Blaine and I talk about it all the time, of the greatest people in the world living right next door to the worst.
Yeah, to the craziest place in the world.
To figure out who's who before you become friends.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Dave and I called a lot of games for UNLV in football and basketball over the years, and we're part of that package. And Dave was at KLAS for a long time. Had a wonderful career there.
Yeah, good place.
So Dave's it's hard to go out to dinner with Dave in Vegas because everybody comes up and talks to him.
There you go.
And you don't get to talk to him, but it's pretty fun.
It's like Dick's Jarman. Dick's Jarman, I tell everybody he runs Vegas. I swear he's tied into everybody. He runs and Mac family.
He runs a lot of it.
Yeah.
He does.
Well,
interesting schedule.
We've got BYU head volleyball coach Shawn Olmstead on the Wise Guys with us tonight ahead of Friday night season opener. Let's talk about the schedule a little bit, Shawn. It's an interesting schedule this year, and it starts out with Friday's game that we just talked about, and then another home game on Saturday night on BYU TV against Lewis to get you started. So, like back-to-back nights at home, how hard is that to play back-to-back? Yeah,
it's different. The reality is we're used to it. That's how we've when we get into conference play, we'll have a day off we did go through that. When I played, it was back-to-back. It was always back-to-back because teams came out. They didn't have this massive budget to be able to come out to Provo for one game and then fly. If we're going to Provo, we got to play both there this year. Then it went away from it. And so there was a day off in between. And now I actually prefer it. We're back to for the most part, when we do get into conference, it'll be one opponent. Okay, this is unique. This weekend we had an exciting opportunity to host both Lewis and McKendree, and then we got Irvine involved. So the funny thing is Irvine will be here playing, and that goes into what is the Smith Fieldhouse. Niffin, that's the head coach at Irvine. He just loves it.
Really.
He calls me every year, hey, can I come play up there? And, well, Niff, we owe you in Irvine. Because if you look on our schedule, and 3 weeks later, we're at their place. But Niff's like, no, I love Provo. I love it. It's the best volleyball venue for my guys. Can I come out and play somebody? So
you got an opposing coach recruiting you to get them on your home schedule.
No, literally.
That's
literally.
Awesome.
And I will say he helped me get those other teams because those other teams were like, okay, hey, they didn't want to play each other. Because I think they're scheduled later on in the year. I could be wrong, those guys. But they were like, oh, great. Niff wants to play us. That's it, Irvine. This works out great. We get to come play you. We don't have to play you guys back-to-back. And we get to play Irvine, not have to go to their place.
Right.
Hey, we'll do it. Let's do it. Let's put on a fun little event here in Provo. And so that's kind of what it's become.
Well, there's a stretch in February and March. You play 6 straight road games, starting with UCLA.
Yeah.
And then you finish the regular season with 8 straight home games that include Ohio State, which would be out of conference, Pepperdine, USC, and Stanford, which is a great finish ahead of the tournament.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, as it relates to our scheduling, we've always been a little kind of on the fringe because we've been out here in Provo, and so the scheduling cycle plays itself out over the course of a certain amount of years. And this just happened to be a year where, hey, we've got to go on the road these first 3. And, there's years like that happen, but it's the same. We get to end this way. And so
I think I'd rather end with 8 at home, wouldn't you? If you had to pick?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah. And no doubt about it. But everyone looks at that and goes, whoa, what's going on? And, that scheduling in reality is outside of my control. The conference does all that.
Right.
And so, hey, we've got to go, and we're gonna play some tough teams on the road, and you've got to be able to compete on the road. You've got to be able to go win on the road, no matter what team you are. And so that's all kind of part of the whole thing. And then, build up to that opportunity to, hey, we're back in town, and now we get to be here, and continue to kind of improve and be at home and build those things towards the end of the season.
Everybody asks this every year, Shawn, but this is where you're at, right? And this is a good question to get asked every year. Is this a team that can compete for a national championship this year?
This is a team that's, you don't want to ever say, like, this is a team that's going to be, they're going to have their goal. They've built their goals. They've had these opportunities to talk and build as a team together. And this is a team and a group, let me say this, that is going to be able to do some really, really remarkable things. Mark my words, they're going to be able to go do that. But I do believe that this is a team that still is going to need a few more opportunities to be competitive at that level. Now, you say that and any team can go do anything, but I also don't. I sort of have, and saying I have an issue isn't the right wording, but to just throw out, guys get in there and go, hey, we're going to go win a national championship. No, let's be in the right area and let's build from there. And so great things can happen, but it's a very same approach that we had a few years ago when we kind of had the same feeling, like we need these guys to be together for a year or two, because we have the roster that could do that, that the core guys could do that. And if they build the right way, yes, I believe this group could.
There's a lot of freshmen and sophomores on your roster.
There's young guys. That's the reality. And we're going to put some young guys on the floor. And we all know, being involved in athletics, right? We all know that experience is the master teacher.
Yeah.
That's it. I tell these guys all the time, I said, guys, I'll put any amount of money and we can go down to the beach in SoCal or here in Utah, and I won't lose to any of you guys. Because I just, the experience of seeing the game, of understanding the game, of reading the game, I can go beat those guys on the beach. I can't beat them indoor. They're too physical. They're too, my body breaks down if I try to jump on anything hard surface. But I can go on the beach, and the experience, that's why the young kids go down there, and the old guys that are born and raised in SoCal, these guys that play every day at noon on their lunch break, they're going to beat my guys day and night, and they're not going to swing at one ball. They're going to roll shot here and roll shot there and just pick apart. So that the reality is, any great team, guys, any great team at any sport, the experience of building together something together, that experience of competing together is so crucial. What did we see in the Jimmer years? What did we see in the years that we won a national championship?
Yeah.
I mean, and
the Ty Detmer years, Jim McMahon years.
That's the reality. And so, you're always going to be competing, but those are the special years when those things come together, and then you can build from there. And
yeah, so when talent and experience match up is when you really have something, right?
Yes.
So you brought in some help. Otavio Souza joins your staff, brings you some Brazilian firepower.
Yes.
Former Cougar. What is he going to mean to this roster of youth?
Yeah, I talked to I ran into Dick Jarman's son, Price, that played for me, middle blocker, played in the national championship, went and played overseas in Brazil and in France, and was a remarkable player, middle blocker for us, played with the USA national team for a couple of years, actually. So I hadn't told the guys yet. We were at that event in Vegas, and I hadn't told the guys because it wasn't official, because Otavio was still in his season with Cal.
Otavio, right? That's how you say it?
Yes,
okay.
and he was still in the Pac-12 competing. So everything got done. BYU was awesome, and their program was as well. Their head coach, of course, was involved, but not the players, not our players either. And so I told Price, and I said, hey, Price, this is who we hired. And he's like, man, Shawn, that's a home run for our team and for our program. Because you see in Title IX, more coaches leaving the men's game to go to the women's game. Really? You rarely see the women's coaches coming over to the men's game. Rarely, if ever. I lost Luca to North Carolina State, to USA Women's Volleyball. I lost Jalen Reyes to Nebraska Volleyball. That's where you're going, because there's way more. You can't even compare the amount of opportunities. We're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds as it relates to women's volleyball and growth. And men's volleyball we're this small group. So Otavio's he brings a lot of things that I thought I feel and felt, and we've already seen the positivity behind it. He's someone that played here at BYU. He's an alum that was a foreigner, that was not a member of the LDS Church, that embraced everything about the experience at BYU and has embraced it for his entire life and can never not talk about the wonderful opportunity he had. And so that's the reality. You know, we've been very successful with foreigners.
Yeah.
We've been very successful with kids that are not members of the LDS faith, bringing them here, you know, getting them into our program and a part of the campus community. And so there was a ton of value for me to, you know, find that coach. And like I said, BYU was awesome as it relates to that, supporting me in my decision to go, hey, we want to go down this road. And to be able to do that, we've got to do X, Y, Z. And I think we're seeing them do that with the football team right now, though, too.
Yeah,
with,
and basketball.
You know, and basketball. And so that was a crucial hire for me. And he was, Otavio, just his experience and his time and the recruiting ties for us to go continue the overseas. And, you know, we have another Brazilian kid that just got here in December. And so he and Otavio are actually from the same state. There was no connection before that. But again, I was down there recruiting in May. You know, it's almost a yearly trip to go down to Brazil and have those opportunities.
When you see the sign as you enter campus over there by the Wendy's, I think it is,
yep.
The world is our campus.
And
yeah.
enter to learn, go forth to serve.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Right. And if we look at the greats, we make a list of the best men's volleyball players. We can get in that debate, but you cannot deny the impact of the Ossie Antonettis.
Right.
On that same roster, NCAA National Player of the Year, Final Four Player of the Year, Hector Lebrón from Puerto Rico.
I remember Hector, yeah.
You can't deny the outside hitter of that same team that was Joaquin Acosta, Puerto Rican, and then Gabby Garcia, who played for me, Felipe de Brito Ferreira, that's played for us, Brazil, Mickey Jauhiainen from Finland. And so you see and I apologize, guys, if I left anybody out, but what I'm getting at is the importance of those players to our roster. Absolutely. And those connections.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been, so the world really is our campus when it comes to both men's and women's volleyball. We want to talk a little bit about the Olmstead legacy here.
A dynasty.
So volleyball dynasty started with both you and Heather playing the libero position. You at BYU, Heather at Utah State, of course. You take the women's head job in 2011. Then you move over to the men's job in 2015.
Yep.
And Heather comes in and succeeds you as the women's head coach.
Yep.
And all she's done is amass the highest winning percentage in the history of Division I volleyball. That includes men and women. How much fun is this for the family to have both of you at BYU having the kind of success you're having in the sport you love?
No, I mean, you know, I can't imagine, you know, just the experience my parents get to have. And it's, look, when BYU approached me about going from an assistant of the women's team to the head coach of the women's team, Tom came and pulled me aside and sat down with me. And then I immediately said, okay, excuse me, not immediately. I gave him my answer the next day. He said, get back to me, go visit your wife, and you've got to talk about this, Shawn. Right. But this is what we want, Shawn. And we believe in you. We trust in you. We know what you can do. And so I came in the next day, guys, and I said, okay, but I'm going to go get the best assistant out there. I need that support. Okay, yeah. Well, that assistant is my sister, Heather Olmstead, and she's at the U of U. And there's nepotism policies in place,
right,
at BYU, and
which means that you can't just hire your whole family.
Yes, and I totally get that. I understand that, but I said, I have to have Heather here.
Okay,
I've got to have Heather here, and she's an outstanding recruiter. She's just she played at a high level, like you guys mentioned. The Utah State was numerous years of her career ranked in the top 25. When does that happen with Utah State volleyball? I mean, right. Former alum, current Rob Nielsen is the head coach up there doing a remarkable job. Don't get me wrong, but they were top 25. They knocked BYU out of the NCAA tournament. My sister, Heather, not many people know that. I was there at that match.
It's outrageous.
They ended their season. And so, hey, we've got to go. I'm going to get Heather. And I'll share some cool things. Like that wasn't easy. You know, it just had to go through the right channels, right?
Yeah.
And I recall the timing of me becoming the head coach. Heather she's the assistant at the U of U. We were getting close to double days. And I didn't want to, you know, hose another program by taking their assistant at that timing. That doesn't happen in college athletics. You know, you guys know the time, end of football season, all the hiring and stuff goes on. Yeah. You know, basketball, same thing. But this was just a unique time and a unique timing of the entire situation. And I remember I kept saying, like, hey, you know, what's going on? What's going on? And Heather was kind of, you know, because she and I we were talking. We were like, okay, we brought her down. We interviewed, and someone's like, hey, this is just sitting on the president's desk. And it was the president of the church, not
the other
BYU.
president.
Yeah. And it was like, it's there. And we just need that signature, and we're going to go. And Heather was everything that I anticipated her being. And in 2014, we made just a remarkable run, one of the most memorable runs to the national finals, the only unranked team to have ever done that in NCAA women's volleyball. We were not ranked. We were not in that NCAA tournament. You guys know how that goes. We were not one of those teams.
Yeah,
a seeded team, I should say. And I won. I was fortunate to win. You know, be named the national coach of the year. And I got up there and I said, "Hey, the best coach is behind me. Heather's she's the real deal." You know, and then when BYU came again, this opportunity with the men's program.
Yeah.
There was, hey, here's another coach that we have. We can keep things going, and we can bring you over here to the program you were a part of, and, you know, think about it. And yeah, look what Heather's done. What she broke some records this year.
What both of you have done.
No, she's an awesome coach. She's really, really taken that on. Honestly, like she has. We had a phenomenal run to the finals. Like. We were in the national championship. Heather's returned to the Final Four.
Yeah.
She's won it's like 6 or 7 conference titles in a row.
Something like that.
I will say, though, I do hold this over her head that most of that entire team that she went to the finals with, Final Four, said, Heather, hey, my recruit, I committed her. Yeah, you're welcome. No, but yeah, it's so exciting to watch her and be there, and just for our family.
Who gives the most advice to the other person about coaching?
No, not we both kind of like Heather.
Like you get a text after a game and there's Heather going, "What were you thinking? Why'd you do that?"
No, she'll just ask somebody else or say something, and then I hear her through the family, like the Pineapple Express or whatever we want to call it, the telephone game.
Sure.
But no, Heather's. It's fun for me to be able to go in her practices. She comes into our practices because we're hanging out or we're getting things ready, and just to be able to have that connection with the programs actually is very, very unique. And my guys, they know every women's home game at the end of practice, I'm saying, guys, let's be here. We're going to come cheer on the girls. And they do the same. So that's pretty cool and pretty unique.
That's awesome. I think we've all had chances. A lot of us had chances to play on the Little League teams with our brothers or high school teams. Blaine's the only boy in the family, so that didn't happen over there.
My sisters, I never got to play on any of my sisters' teams. That's it.
But that means everything.
Well, how many sisters did you have?
I have 3 sisters.
Okay, so. I got 6, so I got you beat.
Ah, man. I did play high school football with my 4 cousins, all on the same team.
There you go.
But never, didn't have any brothers to play with.
Yep. Yep. So I feel you. My pain's just
Are you the only boy then, Shawn?
I am the only boy. Yeah.
6 sisters and you're the only boy.
6 sisters.
So
my sisters call me the Crown Prince. I don't even know what we can call you with 6.
No, they for sure have never told me that. You're lucky.
They do call him the Crown Prince.
I can't say on air.
And they treat him like that.
I can't say on air the things they called me. So maybe it's a little different there.
That's awesome.
So you said some nice things about Heather. What's the nicest thing Heather has said about you?
No, I don't. Look, it's my sister. I know she's said wonderful things. Do I know exactly? I don't. But
like you said, she said that. Huh.
No, yeah.
Nice.
No, Heather, like, honestly, she is one of the best coaches. She is hands down one of the top NCAA coaches we have in the women's side. And she's shown that year after year after year after year, what she's doing at BYU, being competitive at that level. And again, just year after year after year. And she's shown that.
It's nice when sisters say nice things about you. I have 5 sisters.
Oh, wow.
But I have 4 other brothers, so I had reinforcements.
Okay, you had,
so it was 5 against 5.
You had backup. It was me. It was Shawn against the world.
It's amazing you two turned out the way you did, surrounded by that.
Dave's family has an entire basketball team and a whole backup team.
Yeah, they've got. Let's go. They're going to the Big 12. Dave's family's going to the Big 12.
We were in the Big 12 long before it was cool to be in the Big 12.
There you go.
All right, Blaine, you ready with 5 questions?
Yeah, let's go 5 questions, Shawn. We're just going to fire a matchup. First thing that comes to your mind.
You guys didn't
starting
even give me
with
a
your
heads
favorite sports movie.
Favorite sports movie. Oh my gosh. I'll go with volleyball. Side Out. Cheesy. Randy Stoklos, St. John Smith. Side Out.
I don't think I've ever watched Side Out. I haven't tried that one.
Got to go see it. Yes.
So
Side Out.
Favorite singer or band?
Hands down, Bob Dylan.
Really?
He's the greatest ever.
Yeah. We're talking big time old school. That's awesome.
That's Bob Dylan. I've seen him in concert. Bob Dylan, hands down.
See, I could go with that. I can't go with Dave's. Dave's is AC/DC, and I don't know. I just can't go there. So,
and a lot of people are going to be critical of Bob Dylan's voice, but musician, everything, music, songs, hands down, Bob Dylan.
When you're
He's
watching,
a poet. Bob Dylan is one of the greatest poets of our time.
Unbelievable.
When you're watching him on stage, do you sometimes go, is he going to move?
Yeah,
so that you know he's still up there?
I will say the going and seeing him live wasn't, it wasn't. I couldn't really not understand what he was saying.
The AC/DC guys are all over the stage just for the.
Well, his performance quality is not Michael Jackson. Let's just say that.
No,
so,
there you go.
Favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You know what? We have a lot of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
Thank you for not choosing a healthy cereal because we don't go for that. We all like sugar coated.
There you go.
Dave is Captain Crunch without the crunch berries, which I don't understand at all.
I had some this morning.
That's just so one. I mean, it's just like it's like that. I don't know.
And I go back and forth between Apple Jacks. I like cinnamon. I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch too. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah.
But and I like Cinnamon Life as well. So I'm kind of a cinnamon guy. There you go.
For sure.
Your favorite BYU moment. It can be as a coach, as a player, as a student. It doesn't even have to do with volleyball. You're just your favorite BYU moment of all time.
Man, that's a great one. And yeah, I think I'm gonna. Man, I've so many. Sorry, I'm thinking about player. Is this like on a clock? Or do we have
good.
like a buzzer?
We can go till midnight.
Okay, no, I mean, and I'll try to keep it on one. But gosh, so many. Honestly, so many great ones. And it goes between my senior year playing in Hawaii against Long Beach State for the national championship. We win in 5. The score is 19-17, which if you know, that's overtime. Or it's 17-15. I can't recall which. But we were down in that 5th set 10-6 and 13-9. And in men's volleyball, that's it. Because you only go into 15.
Right.
And everything is a point. And we came back and won. So I'd have to go between that or, beating Texas in the national semifinal when nobody gave our group of girls a shot to beat the Texas Longhorns in that national semifinal. And our girls knew there was no doubt in their mind. And we don't have time that I could tell you some stories, but they knew they were going to win that match. There was no doubt in their mind that they were going to win that match.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Sorry. So those are two, but
those are two. Those are two good ones.
Those are two great ones.
Yeah, my bad.
Your senior year experience, and this isn't part of the 5, I always am interested in this. When you're in that environment and you're playing for a national championship, was there ever a moment when you took the time to step back out of the competition and take it all in for a minute?
You'll get me emotional, so I'm not going to. I got to be careful. I don't know if there was a time in the game, but seeing my dad after for sure was that moment. My dad is in the Volleyball Hall of Fame and numerous Hall of Fames in California. And just that was it, seeing my dad. And in the moment, in the match, Maybe not that I can recall. But yeah, seeing my dad in that moment, and I'll tell you guys as sports, analysts and all that you guys do, that year we had played Long Beach State 3 times before that national final match. We played them twice at home, at their place. We beat them in 2, if I'm not mistaken, 2 5-set matches back to back. So we go to Long Beach, we beat them. Then we win. We get to host the MPSF tournament. We play them again in the finals of the MPSF tournament. So that's number 3. So we've now beaten them 3 times, and now we're playing them in the national final. And every interview was, you just can't do it. You cannot beat a team 3-4 times in a row. It's just against every sports logic and the experts. And I recall saying, I think it's the opposite. I think it's on those guys. They cannot beat us. Like, man, what do we have to do to beat these guys? And sure enough, the 5th set, they are up 10-6. They're up 13-9. That's 2 points compared to our 6.
Right.
But and one play after another, and there was no doubt in my mind. It was like, oh my gosh, is this happening? Are you kidding me? Is this happening again? That it had to have been, And so, anyways, yeah.
That's what a cool experience. The reason I asked you that, Shawn, is like, I always tell young athletes, they say, what advice? And I say, hey, when you're in a big moment, if there's ever a break in the big moment, take time to take it all in, because we forget to do that,
Oh yeah.
We were playing Michigan for the national championship. Robbie gets knocked out. I'm in the game. We're on national TV playing Michigan, and I'm out on the field. And I had just run the ball, and they were measuring for a first down. And I don't know why this hit me in my head, but my dad had always said, when you're in a big moment, you make sure you take time to stop and recognize it. So they're measuring, and that hit me in my head. And I stepped back, and I did a 360 and looked all around Qualcomm with that place just jammed with 80,000 people, and thought, this is what I practiced for my whole life. This is the coolest thing ever. And I was so glad my dad told me to do that.
Yeah. Unreal. Well, that's so cool.
So I always wonder if people have that moment, because it was really cool to have that in that moment. And you played for a national championship. And what you told me about the moment you had with your dad afterward is really cool. I love it.
Yeah.
All right,
so that was
5th.
Question. Was that 3 or 4? Was that
was 4?
We did 4.
Okay.
But I made the 4th one long. That's my bad.
No. I love it.
And the 5th one is the favorite thing about your sister, Heather. What's your favorite thing about her?
And is she your favorite sister? How's that shake down?
Ooh. Yeah.
You don't have to answer that.
No. I'll answer it. No, I guess I won't answer. I mean, the favorite thing about Heather. Yeah. Heather's, I'm trying to say the right words, and this isn't in a bad way. Just her competitiveness is why she's so great. I mean, Heather is just uber competitive. And it's in everything she does. And so it's fun to see that you can be competitive, you can be successful, and you can be a successful female in sports, you know, and do that. And it sounds weird. In my mind, I understand where I'm coming from, but my favorite thing about Heather is that, you know, she is Heather's super competitive. You know, we know if they've lost a match, which doesn't happen a lot with Heather, guys.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, I'm gonna go around the back door to the Smithfield house. I'm not gonna go through the front lobby, but she gets so much out of her team, and she's done it every year, and really done a remarkable job in that sense.
Fantastic. BYU men's volleyball season opener Friday night, 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain on BYU TV against McKendree. And then Saturday night, same time, same place, BYU TV against Lewis. Head coach Shawn Olmstead with us on the Wise Guys. Hey, we're proud of you. Appreciate how you rep the
This was awesome.
the why, and you're welcome here anytime.
Oh, guys, this is so cool, and I'm gonna go tell all my friends. I'm gonna go tell. We gotta have more coaches. Like, hit me up. Let's go get these guys on.
Absolutely.
This is so,
oh,
this
Shawn,
is so
we're
awesome.
so glad to have you on with us. This was just a treat for us. We're really grateful you could make the time.